Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I am back with another weekly analysis video for you. I'm going to go through all the pairs that I'm watching for the week ahead. We've got some great setups lining up. Yeah, let's get straight into it. So starting off with the DXY monthly time frame. We can see in terms of structure, we have gone and put in a new high, and price has now come back into discount prices. So if we just take our tool out, draw our premium and discount, you can see we've tapped into discount. Now what is there in discount? We can see there is an imbalance right over here. So we've got an imbalance right over here. This imbalance here lines up very nicely to a previous resistance, and now what we are seeing is price from this level is rejecting. Okay, so this level is holding strong, and I was predicting price last couple of weeks for the DXY to actually be bearish. However, to be honest, I don't focus too much on fundamentals. I trade 99% technicals, and it's very, very rare that I'll focus on a fundamental thing. However, next week, I think on the week after, I guess, we have US elections coming up, which is a huge event for the Forex markets, or the markets overall, actually. And in terms of the elections coming up and an event coming up, I'm starting to think that dollar could potentially go long. Okay, technically it's making a lot more sense to go long because the confluences for it to go long is way more than the confluences for it to go short, but we'll get into that now and you'll understand what I'm trying to say. So this level over here is rejecting. Okay, looks like previous resistance here is acting as support. We can also see on the weekly time frame, very nice, very clear. Looks like over here we had a bit of a sweep, price went up, and then obviously over here as well, price looks like has swept liquidity, and we could be continuing higher into this imbalance over here, taking out this liquidity. And also what I am starting to think as well is, like, look at this push up. We've got one imbalance, two imbalances, three imbalances, and the push up is pretty impulsive. One could argue that we could go short from here. So this move over here, so this level, price came down, broke structure, and price is now going up on the weekly time frame. We could see price come into this level. So this is an order block, but we've got an imbalance right next to it. So I'll highlight the order block plus the imbalance. We have got liquidity right over here. So price could come up there, okay, and we could start seeing rejections. However, them rejections could be that price is going to come back and retrace, maybe even come into discount prices to go higher. Okay, so that's what I'm thinking. This is the only confluence that I have for dollar short, but when I'm looking at the monthly time frame, I'm looking at this imbalance. I am seeing all of this as liquidity now, buy side liquidity, and I'm seeing this level over here acting as support, impulsive move, leaving imbalances. It's all literally screaming longs to me at this point. So yeah, I'm dollar bulls for the week. However, if we start obviously breaking to the downside in the 4 hour time frame, on the dollar, then I may switch my bias. But as of now, and as of going into next week, looking at structure overall on the higher time frames, it looks like we are going higher on the dollar. Okay. Next pair I am watching is euro dollar. So on the weekly time frame, I can see we have now approached this weekly order block. We have a swept liquidity. Now, what I'm starting to think is, are we going to see rejections from this area for price to continue higher? Or is price going to continue to melt? Okay. In my opinion, honestly, I am not liking the bulls on here. If I see some sort of confirmation over here, I am going to go long, but I'll be targeting imbalances. So this imbalance over here would be my first target, and then this imbalance over here would be my second target. If you look at the weekly time frame as well, sorry about that, the weekly time frame, we have an imbalance down here just like the DXY. We have also sell side liquidity as well lining up, and yeah, it could be a possibility that we could break out of this order block and continue to the downside. I'm going to keep my students updated. Okay, so if there is a confirmation entry over here, they're gonna get the signal and we're gonna go long. And yeah, Next pair is GBP USD. Again, if we look at the GBP USD monthly time frame, sorry, I forgot to explain EU on the monthly. If you look at EU on the monthly, we have, let me show you guys. So price came down over here. We took out previous structure. We then went up. Okay, we've got a bullish order block right over there. Sorry, that's the last bullish candle before this break of structure. Price tapped into it. Okay, and now these wicks over here are below this wick over there. Okay, so that for me is a lower high. Okay, now I am expecting price maybe to continue to the downside. Okay, again, I am aware that we've got bullish structure over here. I am aware that we could continue going higher. However, looking at the DXY going long, I am favoring EU to go short. Okay, now GBP USD again on the, if we look at this on the monthly time frame, and I feel like this GU is so much more cleaner than EU. So we've got a break of structure to the downside over here. Price has gone up into this last into this order block. Okay, we had liquidity over here which we have now swept. Look at this candle forming. It's a bearish engulfer. Again, let's go on to the weekly time frame now. This push up over here was obviously a liquidity sweep on the monthly time frame. On our way down, we have left an imbalance as well. So from this area over here, I am now waiting for some sort of confirmation to go long on GU. Okay, so if I see a good solid confirmation, I am going to take longs, but I'm going to be targeting this level. Why? Because this is an imbalance inside the monthly order block. Okay, so we could possibly push up, see some confirmation over here to go shorts, and from here, this is an imbalance on the weekly, the order block on the weekly, we could see confirmation to go long targeting this level. Okay, so we can play both sides. Next pair that I'm watching is USD CAD. Obviously, if I'm favoring dollar bulls, it makes sense for me. Sorry about this. Let me just mute my phone. So on the monthly time frame now, what I'm trying to figure out is this. So if we're looking at overall structure now, with this move that came all the way down, it came down and swept sell side liquidity. Okay, now where is buy side? Buy side is up there. That's the first thing I'm spotting. I'm spotting a buy side liquidity where price could potentially come into. Number one. Number two, I'm looking at this imbalance over here. You probably could see this imbalance. Now, same as the DXY, there's an imbalance, right? And price is rejecting off this level a multiple number of times. So we wicked through this, and then we went up, we came back down. This level over here, we failed to put in a new low. So this is a higher low. And again, price went up, and now I'm seeing this move over here that failed to put in a new low. We failed to break the previous low. So for me, it just looks like price is going to go higher. So what am I going to wait for? If you look at this on the weekly time frame, we have a liquidity sweep, we have an imbalance. Can price come back into this imbalance? And once we come into this imbalance, I'm going to wait for some sort of confirmation to go longs. As you can see over here, confirmation entries only. That's what I do. Next pair is USD JPY. We've got sell side sweep, buy side is up there. We've got an imbalance here on the monthly time frame. Could price come into this imbalance? Maybe yes, maybe no. Depends on how. Depends on where the dollar wants to retrace to, in all honesty. So if price comes into this area, okay, I'm gonna wait for some sort of confirmation to go longs. But on the 4 hour as well, we can see structure is so nice and clean. So if this is the 4 hour structure, let me just draw it out for you. So this is the low and that's the high. Okay, now this imbalance over here is what I'm going to be watching. This imbalance, if we fail to reject from this imbalance, I'll watch out for the imbalance below it right over here. Okay, if I see a confirmation, I'm going to go longs on USD JPY from these levels. Okay, however, if I don't see any confirmation and I'm seeing price continuing to melt, which would mean dollar is retracing, then on the daily time frame, on the weekly time frame, I can see this imbalance. Price could potentially come down into this imbalance, and then I'll wait for confirmation out of that. However, looking at the daily time frame on this pair, there is a possibility that we could come into this area. But if you just look at it on the daily time frame, this level over here is is balanced. Okay, there is an imbalance below it, but I'm not sure if we're gonna retrace that much. I mean, I would be so shocked if we come over here. Never mind this area. I'm favoring price to come into this 4-hour area for us to go longs. Next pair I'm watching is Aussie CAD. So on the weekly time frame, last week I was actually favoring longs on this. I posted it on my Instagram as well. Actually, I was long on this, but I closed it for like, I think minus 0.5, I think it was. I can't remember. But if we look at this area over here, we've put in a new high. Okay, we put in a new high. We had an imbalance over here. We had previous resistance now acting as support. We had the week before last week, this candle failed to put in a new low. Okay, and we closed as a rejection candle. Now, what happened last week is, first of all, we wicked below the previous candle, which I wasn't expecting. I was actually expecting price next week to continue going higher, like I said, but we didn't get that. So now what I'm doing is I'm trying to figure out, where is Aussie CAD going to come back to? Where is there a chance that Aussie CAD comes back to? Now on the daily time frame, I'm seeing this imbalance over here. I'm seeing this as a liquidity sweep. And now what I am going to do is, on the 4-hour time frame, I am going to wait for some sort of a pullback for price to come into, to then look for shorts targeting this liquidity over here. Aussie NZD, I'm already long on this. Swissy JPY, I'm looking for longs. A daily time frame, you can see there's an imbalance over here. Could price come into this level, give us a confirmation out of this level to go long? Yeah, lines up very nicely with the 4-hour as well. So on the 4-hour, we've got a clear structure as well. So yeah, price to come into a discount, to then look for some sort of confirmation for this price to continue going higher. Also with CAD JPY on the 4-hour time frame, same thing with all JPY pairs. We've got lovely 4-hour structure. Can price come back into this 4-hour imbalance to give us some sort of confirmation to go long? Or on the daily time frame, is it possible? Obviously, if we start melting and we completely ignore this imbalance, price doesn't respect it whatsoever, I could imagine price coming down. My second area of interest would be this level over here once we sweep this liquidity. Okay, so there's two areas. First area is this 4-hour imbalance. Second area is all this liquidity to be swept for price to maybe come into this imbalance on the 4-hour, and then I want to see some sort of confirmation to go long. Euro Swissy, I think I explained this in last week's video, maybe the week before. Let's have a look on the higher time frame. So weekly time frame. A weekly time frame, you can clearly see we have swept sell side liquidity. Buy side is up there now. Daily time frame, I've marked out my structure point, so I don't think I really need to explain that. We've gone and put in a new high. We've got an order block over here. This price action is absolutely disgusting. However, I am favoring longs on this pair. It may be a lot more clear on the 4-hour for you guys. We are in an area of interest. You know, we've come down. A price over here is so corrective, and once, you know, we've got a liquidity sweep right over here. We've had a 4-hour structure break, and now we're retracing. We are rejecting this area. We are retracing as well. So any sort of confirmation from this area, you could go longs. Euro Aussie is a very interesting one. So on the weekly time frame, let me show you guys, because obviously I'm expecting dollar longs, which would mean Aussie and NZD weakness, okay, which would mean Euro Aussie and Euro NZD to go higher, and that's what the technicals are showing us anyway. So we have a low over here. Price has gone up, broke structure, put in a new high. We've come down correctively. We are rejecting off this order block that I've highlighted. We tapped into this order block. This wick over here failed to put in a new low, okay, which makes this a weak high. And obviously, looking at these candles as well, the fact that we've literally just broken above this imbalance point with this last week's candle, I'm expecting price to sort of retrace to go higher. So on the 4-hour time frame, I've got an order block marked out here. I've got my imbalance marked out, and I'm going to wait for price to maybe come into the imbalance or the order block. I'm going to wait for some sort of confirmation out of this area to go longs. Okay, Euro CAD on the, let's have a look. So we've got the weekly time frame here. We've got an imbalance over here. We've got previous resistance. Price over here is acting as support now. Every time we've come into this area, we are rejecting for price to continue going higher. Daily time frame, you can see we have a we have an imbalance now on the daily time frame. So we've got an imbalance, which I've highlighted. We've also got this trend line liquidity buy side for me. I'm going to wait for a confirmation on the 4 hour out of this level to continue going higher, for price to continue going higher. Euro GBP, let me show you guys. So on the monthly time frame, we have an imbalance right over here. This is the start of the imbalance. Price has swept sell side. Now on to the daily time frame, what I am seeing now is price sort of ranging around this area. So could this be a sell side liquidity for price to go higher? So if sell side is over here, buy side is up there. On the 4 hour time frame as well, we can see what happened is once we swept liquidity, so once we've had this sweep over here, price has gone up and put in a new high. So on the 4 hour time frame, this was a low. That's a high. We've left an imbalance over here. I want to see confirmation out of this area to go longs. I don't trade without confirmations, okay? If I see a confirmation out of this area, I'm going to go long. And if I don't see the confirmation, then there is no trade for me. Next pair, Euro JPY. On the 4 hour time frame, I am expecting price to sweep this liquidity over here, okay? I want price to come into this level. I want confirmation out of this area, and I'm going to be going long on this. Euro NZD. You know, some of these pairs, I've actually gone through them in the last 2-3 weeks videos, so I don't want to, you know, go through them again because it just makes it so repetitive. So Euro NZD again, we've swept liquidity, price has gone up, put in a new high, we've come down correctively. This low over here failed to take out previous low, which makes this a weak high. Okay, now looking at this imbalance over here, which I was looking for shorts last week, obviously looking at last week's candle, I'm no longer seeing shorts. I've switched my whole bias on these pairs simply because of the DXY. Okay, now on the 4 hour time frame, we can see clear structure. Okay, I've highlighted my order block. I've also got an imbalance over here. Okay, so I want to see this swept. I want price to come down, give me some sort of confirmation to go longs on this pair. GBP CAD on the weekly time frame. Well, first of all, let me just show you on the monthly time frame. So on the monthly time frame, we have swept sell side liquidity. Okay, the first buy side target is going to be here. Okay, and the reason why it's going to be here, is because this could be an order block for price to come into to then reject and go short. Okay, but obviously I'm not going to go for this order block. I'm going to go for the order block above. Sorry, my bad. This could be a liquidity grab for price to come into this order block for then price to go short. Okay, so we're not going short. It doesn't bother us. We're just focusing on the buy target that I have, and it's the red line that I've drawn out. On the weekly time frame, you can see we are bullish. We're putting in bullish structure. There's nothing bearish about this pair. Daily time frame, just look at this. Someone sent me this on Instagram a couple of days ago, and I said to them, I said, listen, is the daily bullish or bearish? And he turned around and said to me that, well, the 4 hour switch structure. I said, I don't care. I'm not bothered about the 4 hour. If the weekly and daily is bullish, then why the hell are you looking for sells on the 4 hour? Okay, so on the daily time frame, okay, price went up, breaking structure, came back down. We failed to put in a new low, which makes this a weak high. Okay, not only that, just like EuroCAD, you can see we have trendline liquidity over here. Okay, so I am favoring bullish momentum on this pair. Okay, what you could do is obviously you could wait for 4 hour structure to shift, or honestly you could just wait for price to come into this imbalance over here, or this little imbalance over here, or even sweep this liquidity to then wait for confirmation to go along on this pair. GJ on the 4 hour time frame, waiting for price to sweep this liquidity. Okay, so we are waiting for price to sweep this liquidity, going to wait for confirmation out of this area to continue longs. We could reject off this imbalance after sweeping liquidity, or we could come into this order block over here. Okay, either way, I'm looking for longs. The last and final pair is GBP Swissy. I've been going on about this for years now. We are in this weekly imbalance, okay, and we've had another not swimming top, sorry, my bad. So this imbalance over here on the weekly time frame, we've got a spinning top, which is indecision again. So we've had a doji candle, we've had a spinning top, we've had a shooting star, and now a spinning top again. That means price is slowing down. So all you need to do is you need to wait for confirmation to go long on this pair, okay? On the daily time frame as well, we've got an imbalance and price is rejecting of this imbalance. I'm honestly, it's been like 4 weeks now that I'm waiting for price to show me some sort of a bullish structure shift for me to go along on this pair. So yeah, these are all the pairs I'm watching for the week ahead. Honestly, it's the last week of October, so I am expecting some sort of movement before the elections. Fingers crossed. And yeah, if you have any questions, you want to send your chart work or anything like that, you need any sort of help, DM me on Instagram, Swing Success Trading, or you can email me swingsuccesstrading@gmail.com, and I'll be more than happy to get back to you and help you out. And if you are interested in the mentorship as well, DM me or email me, okay? But yeah, I will see you again with another video next week. Until then, bye.